Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Max Story.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. So today we're talking about the fifth step. Some more. We've been on this step for a couple of weeks now. Today's podcast episode is number 461. Today's episode is called Modeling a High Degree of Character at Work. If you remember or you've been listening, last week we talked about modeling a high degree of character at home. So today we're on part 28 of 31, which is actually chapter 27 from my wife Rhea Story's book, The Ladder of Influence, 5 Steps for Climbing to the Next Level and Beyond. The chapter is actually titled in the book, The Fifth Step at Work. I kind of change up the podcast episode titles and kind of title it what I'm actually talking about. And if I just titled The Fifth Step at Work, nobody would probably know what that was if they were to just come across a single episode. So I give it a name on the podcast if you're wondering why I changed the title of the podcast and make it different than the title of the book. That's why. Some people who listen to podcasts, all they're seeing when they're scrolling may be the title of the episode. So it needs to make some sense. Tell a little bit about what the episode you're about to listen to is. Give it a brief description. All right. So let's dive in. The fifth step at work. Rhea says a sign of someone who is truly climbing to the fifth step on the ladder of influence at work is that they focus less on being needed and focus more on being succeeded. And that's a big one. Managers of people, low impact people, they really want to be needed. They actually feel pretty good when they're not at work. They're on vacation or they're out sick or something like that, and things fall apart. These folks actually like that because they want to feel needed. And when things fall apart and they're not there, they think that makes them look good, makes them feel valuable, makes them think that their boss thinks that they're so valuable, we got to have them here. We can't let them go. But a high impact leader, someone focused on steadily climbing to this fifth step on the ladder of influence, their focus is more on being succeeded. When they're not there, they want their team to not skip a beat. They think at an entirely different level. You think if you were the boss of the 2 leaders I just described, let's say you got 2 supervisors on your team. You're a higher level leader. You got 2 supervisors who report to you. One of them, whenever they're out, everything falls apart. The team, maybe the production slows down, their quality is not as good. Things are going wrong. Now they've got to be coming to you. Now you got to deal with all those problems. You see the picture I'm painting. That's the leader that needs to be needed. When they're out, everything falls apart. They think that makes them more valuable. Then the other supervisor that reports to you, when they're out, you don't even really know it. Everything just keeps trucking. Maybe it even goes better. You don't have to get involved when they're out. You know their team's got it. They know their team's got it. Which person would you see as most valuable to you as a leader? The supervisor who needs to be succeeded? Or the supervisor who needs to be needed? The one who drops the ball on his team and don't develop them, or the one who's got their team ready to go? It's obvious. Anybody with common sense knows the leader who leaves for a day or for a week and everything keeps right on trucking, that's the most valued leader right there. That means they can build a team of performers. When a leader leaves and a team falls apart, that's an indicator they don't know how to lead. But see, a lower level character person, a low impact leader, they thinking wrong, and they think because things fall apart, it makes them feel valued. They think the boss values them more. They think they're a hero when they come back in and fix it the next day. They don't know what they don't know. But Rhea and I are trying to help you understand and think at a higher level so you can become more valuable as a leader of yourself and of others. Rhea says, once you've climbed to the 5th step, you will have a platform. How you use your platform will determine your legacy. What she's talking about when she says platform, she's talking about your influence. If you've climbed up to the 5th step, you got a lot of influence. You have a loud voice. Your influence travels far and wide, far beyond where you're standing. That's your platform. Is your area of influence, which is a lot if you've climbed successfully to the 5th step. That's your platform. How you use it, she says, is going to determine your legacy. Meaning what you're going to leave behind when you're gone. She's got a really interesting question here to provoke some thought at a deeper level. Are you equipping others with the knowledge, skills, and mentorship to carry on your legacy? That sounds like a good question till you hear the second part, or to create their own. That's the highest level right there. You're not equipping others to carry on your legacy when you're truly at the 5th step. You're equipping others to create their own legacy. You're not trying to make copies of yourself. You're not trying to grow and develop people so when you leave, they can carry on your mission. You're trying to grow and develop people so that when you leave, they can carry on their mission. Or that while you're still here, they may leave you to carry on their mission. But your legacy is still going to live in them because you help grow and develop them and give them the freedom to go become who they're meant to be. The same stuff we're teaching you to do in this book, in this content, The Ladder of Influence, you're teaching others to do. You want them to become the best version of themselves, whatever that means, wherever that means, however that means. That's 5th step leadership right there. That's 5th step influence. And Rhea goes on to say the goal for somebody on the 5th step isn't to be world famous. You're not climbing these steps so you can get up on top and everybody give you a standing ovation. You can be world famous. Some people out there seeking that. That ain't what we're talking about. The goal is to help others live in alignment with their passion and their purpose. And if you're a formal authority leader, you want to attract those kind of people whose passion and purpose align with the mission of your organization. When you align those kind of people, or when those people are aligned with your mission and you attract and retain those type of people, you're going to have a high performance team. You're going to be getting some results that your competition can't get, who just hiring random people trying to get them to work and do a job that they may not want to do. That's why you want to grow and develop people. So let's talk about the checklist here within this chapter. The 5th step at work. The first item is, Rhea says, I am regularly mentoring several people to help them identify where they can make their own contribution of service. Remember, the 5th step is contribution of service over time. So you're helping at the 5th step, you're helping people climb to the 5th step. You're duplicating ladder climbers, people who climb these 5 steps, and you're helping them do it. That's why you understand it ain't about you, it's about them. Just like I've been trying to do with you in this podcast series, Rhea's trying to do with you in the book. We're trying to help you climb your ladder. Character development kind of is the same for everybody, but your competency, that's your unique, that's what's going to make you unique, and the degree that you can develop your character. Rhea's supporting note at the end says, I'm helping others create their own legacy, even if it means they aren't continuing in mine. And that's a big deal. Somebody may follow you for a while, you grow and develop them, then they carry on and move on their own direction. That's okay. That's the whole point of growing and developing people, so they can become the best version of themselves, not a duplicate. The next bullet is, I know exactly what work I am called to do, and I'm doing it almost exclusively. Rhea's supporting note. I focus on fulfilling my purpose more than 90% of the time. That means you get in the center of your lane and you stay there. You know exactly what you called to do, and you're focused on doing it. That's exactly what Rhea and I have been doing for quite a while. It's what we motivate and encourage others to do. Get in the center of your lane. That's where you're going to be most valuable. It's where you're going to be the happiest. It's where you're going to have the greatest impact. The more you stray from the center of your lane, the less influence you're going to have, the less impact you're going to have, the less value you're going to have. I always say in my book, Defining Influence, I talk about following your passion to find your purpose. That's what I'm talking about. This stuff that Rhea's talking about right here, saying it in a different way. The next item on the list, I realize my purpose is not about me, but it starts with me. Her supporting comment there, I know the work I'm doing is more important than who I am, where I came from, and where I end up. As I always say, it ain't about me, but it starts with me. The 5th step ain't about me, but it starts with me. I had to successfully climb the previous 4 steps that we've already talked about. And when I do that in a meaningful way, the 5th step is not about me. It's about a contribution of service over time, serving others. That ain't about me, but for me to be able to do that, it had to start with me. I had to do the work on me to be able to get there so I could help you do the work on you. Next bullet, I am more concerned with the impact I'm making than the sacrifices I've made. This is a checklist. Can I check these things off authentically, honestly, look it in the mirror? If you're reading along in the book, you got this checklist in there. The goal is to live your life in a way that you can honestly start checking these things off, saying, yes, I do this. Most of the time I'm doing this. I'm focused on this. And what she's saying here is, are you concerned with the impact you're making more than the sacrifice you've made? Because probably anybody who's at the 5th step, they've made a lot of sacrifices, but they ain't worried about the sacrifices. They worried about the impact. She goes on to add this note. What I'm working for is more important to me than what I had to give up to do it. Rhea and I both have given up a lot of stuff to be doing what we're doing. But what we're doing is what's important. The stuff we gave up, the fact that we gave it up, that ain't very important. I mean, it's important in the big picture of how do we get here, but that getting all that stuff back, not the mission. Is to keep doing what we're doing. If we get some of the stuff back, great. Some of it we've already got back. Some of it we hadn't. That ain't the focus. Focus is keep doing what we're doing, help other people live a better life. Don't be needy, don't be greedy. Everything else take care of itself. The next bullet, I'm continuing to develop my competency and skills. Her supporting note, I realize growth is a journey that never ends. You've heard me say it before. I'll always be under construction. I'm never going to be a completed project. You should always be under construction. You should know you're never going to arrive. That's what she's talking about relative to competency. She goes on in the next bullet to say, I am continuing to develop my leadership skills. Her supporting note, I have a responsibility as a leader of others, and I'm making sure I master that responsibility. So if you're truly on the 5th step, you're working on it. You're trying to check this checklist off. You're focused on continued development relative to your competency and continued development relative to your leadership ability. You don't ever get to stop being a student. Not on the ladder of influence. You got to be an eternal student. As long as you're alive, you're going to be learning and growing. It's one of the things going to separate you, that's going to allow you to climb to the 5th step and get past the 4th step. There's a lot of people as they start climbing this ladder, once they start reaching a successful or a certain level in life and become successful, personally and professionally, most people just pause, kind of hang on to what they got. That's their goal. They found out what they'll settle for. They stop looking for what they were searching for. Too many people find out what they'll settle for, and that's what they do. They settle. The next item on the checklist, Rhea says, there are many people following me and the work I do. Her supporting note, I'm building a tribe of followers who are willing to allow me to help them create their own legacy. And that's what we're doing. We got a lot of people following us all over the country, outside of the country. Been doing it for years. Anybody who's truly climbing at this on this fifth step, they're doing the same thing in their own way, whatever that means. But it's happening. And it's one of the checklists you need to be able to check off to be truly doing life at the fifth step. The next item on the checklist, I have determined how my contribution will remain relevant after I am gone. Rhea's supporting note, I've created content that will outlive me. I've helped develop others to succeed me. I know there are others who will continue or even expand the cause. And again, when I'm using myself and Rhea as an example, we're on the same mission. And we're achieving these things. We've got content that'll outlive us. We got books. We got podcasts. We got videos. All types of content. And we helping others who do what we do. People who are much younger than us. The younger someone can get into this type of content, the better. Because it's kind of like compound interest in the bank. It's going to build up over time. The longer they live, the earlier they start, the greater the impact they're going to have. And they're going to do stuff that we ain't never thought about doing. But they're going to do it for the same cause, to help people have a better life. That's why I'm glad you're listening. You're one of those people. Regardless of who you are, how old you are, where you come from, where you're going, if you're listening, you're one of those people. Thank you. The last bullet on this list, this checklist, people I've never met know who I am and the impact I am making or have made. Rhea's supporting note, I have a reputation of respect based on my contribution of service over time. And that's a big one to check. People you never met know who you are, and they know how you've impacted them because it's been you personally. They ain't just heard about you, but learned from everybody else. They heard about you and learned a lot from you. And there's a lot of folks out there like that for myself and for Rhea. For you to be at the fifth step, whoever you are, whatever lane you're in, that's the impact you're looking for. If you got that impact, you can check this off the list in the book. If you don't, you got to be saying, what do I have to do to achieve this? Whatever that is, that's fifth step living. And you got to do the work. And it might be a lot of work. And it might take a lot of years. But if you do it, you're going to impact a lot of lives. That's the big picture. So I'll wrap up today's episode with a quote from John Maxwell. He says, the goal in life is not to live forever. The goal in life is to create something that does. And that's a powerful quote for Rhea to put in this chapter. And what he's talking about is a legacy. You ain't going to live forever. You're going to be gone just like I'm going to be gone. But if you leave a legacy in other people, who you are is going to, you're going to have influence after your death. That's a high level of influence. When you die and you're gone, you still got influence through other people, through your content. That's a legacy. And we're talking about positive influence, obviously. That's what you're shooting for. All right. Next week, we'll talk about mastering the fifth step And then after that, we got a couple of chapters to wrap up this series on this book. Hope you found value in today's content. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.